I got some comments on my last video hinting that y'all didn't necessarily like it all too much, even though I say it did pretty well. So instead of trashing on your favorite creator, we're gonna be trashing on your parenting style.
Give me my phone, you idiot!
Okay, hold up. I've seen a fair few amount of these clips, but that's... Yeah, that, and I'm not even sure if that's real or if that's just fake, but that is a whole nother level of get your child in check.
You want me to take your iPad away?
No!
Hands are not for hitting.
Hands are not for hitting. I'm pretty sure if your child understood that, they wouldn't be hitting you. I think we need to reintroduce the idea of hands being for hitting.
That hurts.
Children are violently attacking their parents. Children are getting addicted to iPads, watching Cocomelon and Skibbly Toilet.
Okay, but like on some real shit, we're like, jokes aside, why are we letting our kids roam free? It almost seems like I feel like these kinds of activities are literally just spawned from parents not doing their job and being stern enough. I understand that we shouldn't abuse our kids. Like, we shouldn't be hitting our kids. We shouldn't be smacking them around or anything like that. But even still, we should be trying to do our best to try to discipline them in ways that show them that their actions have consequences, whether or not it's taking away their technology or whether or not it's giving them a little bit of a yell. It's okay to yell at your kids. I mean, if they're doing something really stupid, or especially if they're about like hitting you and shit, like they deserve to be yelled at. They deserve to be sent to their room. Like, there are disciplinary actions that are aggressive that you can do towards a kid to get them to understand that they need to stop, yet also are not abusive.
Hours. Math and reading scores are declining. What do these all have in common? They're the result of a new and growing trend: gentle parenting.
And this is the thing too, and my bad for pausing so much in the beginning, but I don't think that gentle parenting is bad. This is kind of why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like, there are ways you can discipline your child in a way that is gentle, because as a parent, especially with a young child, you need to be gentle because that is a very gentle phase in their life. But also, when you're too gentle with your child, when you just kind of let them do whatever, that in and of itself is kind of a form of abuse because you're just neglecting them. It's a form of neglect, and neglect is abuse, I guess. But like, you're neglecting them of discipline, and when you neglect a child of discipline, they tend to just grow up into a fucking brat.
Parenting is exactly what it sounds like: being gentle to your child. Gentle parenting believes it's a war crime to punish a child. Spanking? That's child abuse. Yelling at your child? That's child abuse. Doing anything that upsets and angers your child? That's child abuse. What happens if your child is literally assaulting you and hurting you? Well, you need to sit down and talk about your feelings.
Yeah, see, and you should sit down and talk with your child when things are happening and they're having emotional outbursts, but also you should deliver consequences when they need to be delivered, because their actions have consequences. If they go out, if they are an adult like me, 19 years old and everything, if I were to go out and just hit somebody randomly on the street, do you want to know what happens? I don't get oh, you shouldn't do that. Hands aren't for hitting. No, I'm gonna get punched out. This idea of giving gentle discipline to such a harsh action just will not work. Like, kids can't work out long-term consequences in their head. They only understand I do an action and something happens immediately. Especially a really young kid, they don't understand that their actions can emotionally hurt somebody. I mean, they understand that maybe if they hit somebody hard enough, they'll cry maybe. That's a less deep understanding of emotion.
Use logic to explain why hitting people is a big no-no. That's the mindset that gentle parenting advocates for. Gentle parenting was popularized in the 2010s in attempts to get rid of the authoritarian parenting styles that society was so accustomed to. But this trend backfired, creating a generation of bratty, selfish, violent, and entitled children. Children can be stubborn, and negotiating with them is hard. Try convincing a child that brain rot is bad for them.
Okay, but you shouldn't negotiate with your child. When you're a parent, what the parent says goes. That was always that was the one thing as a child that always stood true. And as an adult, I don't regret that that's how my childhood was run. Because if my parents didn't have control of my childhood in that way, I would have done so many more stupid things than I had already done with my childhood. Your parents need a level of control in your life when you're a kid. Like, you should be able to have a level of control over your life when you're a kid. Like, you should be able to make decisions for yourself and have the doorway of decision making slowly open as you grow older, especially in your later teen years, because you're growing into an adult. Especially for a young child, you really need to drill it in their head that what the parents say goes, and you need to respect that, because that's what happens when you're a child. When you're a child, you need to follow what the parents say, because what the parents say keeps you safe and keeps you in check, because you're a kid and you don't understand yet.
See what I mean? Because children rarely listen to logic and emotional reasoning, gentle parenting often fails. Watch how these gentle parents deal with their children's violence.
Oh, what the
You
fuck?
can't slap his head, okay?
You don't. No. You
No,
know
you
what
can't
you
slap
do? You know what you do when a child's like you? Do you know what you do? No! You asshole! Go to your room! No!
Head, okay, Winnie?
Please. Please don't do that. Ellie, please don't do that. Ow. No. Gentle hands.
You just like there, gentle. You can see it actively not working. You can see this actively not working in your favor, and you're still gonna continue to do it.
No.
It might not seem like
Yeah, you're just gonna look at the kid and go, no. Bitch, it's a baby. It's not that complicated. Just put the baby back in its crib and say, I'll see you in 5. And by the time you come back, the baby will be crying because it wants your attention. Having a baby is like having a dog in that respect. It's literally just positive reinforcement. Don't give them your attention when they're being an asshole, and then give them attention when they're doing good stuff. It's not complicated, is it?
but these children are learning that they can hurt people without consequences. This is dangerous. If children learn that it's okay to hurt their parents, they begin hurting anyone they feel like. This is how bullies are created. Now, some will argue that these parents did not use gentle parenting correctly, but come on, give them some slack. Gentle parenting is—
No, I mean, there is that part, because like gentle parenting can work. I've seen it work. That is an otherworldly level of skill. Like that type of parenting is a very, very hard parenting style. And it's why many parents either A, just don't pay attention to their kid, or B, just decide to either go back to the traditional methods or just don't have kids. Maybe that's another problem. There are more parents than there should be. And I'm not even talking about, oh, well, the world's overpopulated. There are more people that are parents who should not be parents. And I think that's why this style doesn't work too, is that you have to have a certain type of emotional intelligence beyond just being a gentle parent, but just being a parent in general, like reading how your kid is operating. You have to have a certain level of emotional intelligence that you can't provide sometimes for your kid. Depending on the person you are, you literally just don't have that emotional intelligence, and you probably just shouldn't be a parent.
so confusing and complicated, you should need a PhD if you want to use this parenting style. In gentle parenting, parents need to become a personalized therapist and counselor for their children. And in this process—
I promise you I didn't pre-watch this, but 100%. I'm glad somebody agrees with me.
a lot of parents are bound to become too loose, leading to bad and undisciplined children. Only parents who are good at understanding children's emotions and behavior should attempt this parenting style, because if done wrong, this parenting style could lead to disaster. And this isn't only
That's
about
literally what the fuck I said. I don't know if this guy, I mean, I imagine he researched this, but that's basically exactly what the fuck I just fucking said.
When children learn that they can do whatever they want without any serious consequences, they begin to expect the world to revolve around them. And this is a mindset that's very hard to undo. If anything isn't going their way and they're unhappy about it, they throw a tantrum.
Yeah, I mean, I've already noticed, and I mean, you see this kid here, I mean, she's gotta be somewhere in her teen years. This just proves how terrible of a mindset you can really develop with a parenting style like this. This is disgusting.
Unhappy about it, they throw a tantrum. This has led to a massive rise in classroom misbehavior in the last few years. Here's a kindergarten teacher talking about it.
Gentle parenting is ruining our children. We can't do much when students misbehave, when they're yelling, when they're cursing, when they're throwing chairs. They're trying to hit teachers with their jackets. They are...
Dude, what the fuck? They're like throwing I mean, I can believe it. Don't get me wrong. I can believe it after I heard about shoving lead in Chromebooks and making them explode and shit. Like, why? What does it do for you to throw a chair at a teacher? I remember doing my fair share of stupid shit in school, but this makes me feel so much better about it.
Stomping on their feet. That is not okay. That is when gentle parenting has not benefited that child.
A nationwide survey found that 68% of teachers experience verbal abuse from...
The problem is when you're a parent, you have to focus on just getting on your child's level. I don't think one parenting style fits all. I think it's based off of your child's personality, and you need to be reactive to that. I think being you should be more gentle with your parenting style than your traditional parent from the 80s or something. You should try to adjust how gentle and how harsh you are on your kid, depending on the type of kid they are. Because I've seen kids that genuinely just aren't as much of a pain in the ass as other kids are. And sometimes that just comes with how well they are parented. Sometimes it literally just is a personality thing. Some personalities are just more disciplined and well-maintained than others. And it requires more. And that's another thing. Some personalities require more attention than others. Like, as your kids grow older into their teen years, some of them might want to recluse, some of them might not. I think, especially if you have multiple kids, don't try to treat them. I've seen it way too many times. Either they treat each one vastly different because they favor one child out of the rest, or they treat them all the same even though they each need their own individual attention. Every kid is different. So don't parent your kid based off of how another person parents theirs, because their kid is a different personality. Every human is unique.
Your students. Classrooms have turned into real-life Call of Duty lobbies.
Bro, did you really say that, bro? This 14-year-old repeatedly calling his African-American teacher a racial slur.
No way.
We're right here, bro. Everybody's watching. What's up? Hurling a basketball at the teacher.
Nah.
You ain't telling me.
44% of teachers cite student
Again, what does it do for you? Like, I understand that they had like shitty parents or whatever. What runs through your head to make you think like nobody thinks you're cool in this scenario? Everybody thinks you're a jackass. What makes you think this is a good idea?
behavior as a top source for job-related stress. This problem is actually getting progressively worse with each year. In a 2023 survey, 78% of teachers said students were misbehaving more than in 2019.
We've seen a dramatic increase in violence in our society, significant decrease in accountability and consequence. It's not surprising.
I'm gonna be honest, this bitch just looks like she's wanting to give you a hard time. I'm not trying to judge a book off of its cover, but like, I've known teachers that look basically exactly like that, are just literally there to give you a hard time. And that's all they're there for. Seems like they're not even there to teach. They're literally just there to make your life a living hell.
Unfortunately,
she's probably a sweet old lady or whatever, but she just has that look.
Back in the 2000s as it is now. Gentle parenting was growing in popularity, and a few years after that, misbehavior is on the rise and large numbers of teachers are quitting their jobs. I'll let you decide if that's a coincidence or not. And misbehavior isn't the only consequence. Children are becoming lazy and slow. Parents simply hand an iPad or an iPhone to their children to shut them up.
Yeah, this is a really big problem because I feel like this isn't even gentle parenting at that point. You're literally handing them a device that is saying, I don't care, get out of my face. And it works. You literally hand your kid over to the internet at that point. The internet has control over what they think, what they feel, how their self-confidence level is, all of that. The internet has control at that point because they're on at such a young age. That's all they really know. Especially if you are a very unattentive parent. It always gets me so fucked up because I always see these clips of people like parents trying to take away their kids like iPad and shit, and they get all mad and they're like, I don't know where society's went wrong. And my kid at 6 months old won't let go of the iPad, and they're making swiping motions in their sleep. I wonder why they're making swiping motions in their sleep and doing all this weird shit. It's because you made it You made it so. I feel like handing your kid over to society like that is straight up neglect and abuse. How can you be so oblivious to how you're ruining your child and yet blame everybody else except yourself for ruining your child? I guess that's the main thing that's going on in my head that I have to get out, is that these parents genuinely think it's everybody else's problem that their child is on an iPad that they bought for them. And they're gonna try to lock down the internet as much as they can to try to keep their kids safe from an iPad that they bought them. They could just take it away, but they don't take it away. They take away my freedom to say shit when it doesn't work, because now I'm criticizing your parenting because you suck. It just makes no sense. And I'm not saying that everything is completely like AWOL on the internet. I still have the freedom to say a decent amount of things. The amount of things that I have to watch because of the fact that there are kids on the internet makes me want to rip my hair out, because if they would just take away the fucking iPad, this wouldn't be a problem.
I see the parenting. Children begin to watch highly stimulating content, with toddlers watching Cocomelon and older children doom-scrolling YouTube Shorts.
Oh god, yeah, the fucking stupid AI-generated crap.
And watching brain rot content. And at first, parents see nothing wrong with this, until they try to get the children to stop.
This is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Spoiled kids refuse to go to bed. Bitch, that's your child that you gave the iPad to. It's not his fault that he's addicted to something that you gave him. It actually makes me physically ill to think about the fact that these parents are blaming children for an addiction that they gave them. It's bullshit.
Okay, well, it's time for bed.
With control.
Like, this is absurd. Don't get me wrong. This kid is fucking spoiled. But it's the parents' fault.
Many parents don't take the measures to limit their child's screen use or monitor their content. If this continues long enough, the child actually becomes addicted to their iPad or iPhone and builds an emotional dependence on it. Without their device,
PUBG Mobile in the background.
they can't be happy. Many studies have found that excessive screen use can interfere with brain development.
Wait, changes to the brain EEGs based on screen time. More than 4 hours. What is this showing me? Like brain rot? Like how much brain? Because I have about an hour and a half. So I'm like in the middle here as far as brain rot is concerned. You use my PC a lot. Does PC usage count? Because I don't really like scroll or anything.
By lowering cortical thickness and damage to the prefrontal cortex, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. In simple terms,
Don't know what any of that means.
These brain changes make it even more difficult for children to identify and regulate their emotions, which could be why children get so angry when their iPads are taken away.
Yeah, because it's literally a change in their brain. It's an addiction. Parents need to understand they have to really watch the stimuli that they give their children, even shit like sugar. A lot of these things can just turn into an addiction. They're not an adult. They are not an adult. They cannot control the shit that goes on in their life. How many times are we gonna go through stupid bullshit until we realize that children are not adults, cannot think for themselves, cannot fend for themselves? I'm getting really angry in this video, but this, I mean, you can see why.
This isn't the child's fault. Children don't know better. It's the parent's responsibility to ensure that the children don't misuse technology. But because gentle parenting strongly advocates against punishment, and many parents interpret this as avoiding any action that makes the child upset, many parents become too reluctant to take away screen time. But this isn't just about screen time. The detrimental effects of a screen addiction carry on to other aspects of the child's life, and one of these is school.
Well, yeah, because especially in school, it makes it very difficult to pay attention when all you're thinking about is the next time that you can get on your iPad. It's the same thing as when we used to have Xboxes as kids, except it wasn't as bad because the attention span wasn't nearly as bad. Like, I've noticed even now, like, the brain rot is bad enough in my head, even with as little time as I have on my phone, that I'll find myself myself in pain waiting just a minute or two to get into another match of like Fortnite or whatever other game that I'm playing. It's absurd how it fucks with your perception of time and ability to pay attention to things. So I can imagine if it's already affecting me to a level where waiting a couple of minutes without doing something is already difficult. I can imagine that if these kids all day, they're just scrolling along with doing whatever, it could be just a couple of seconds and they're already nodding off in whatever land.
Are underperforming at every single grade level. A study investigated math and reading scores of 4th and 8th graders and found that the majority do not meet proficiency. And it makes sense.
And that's bad because those are the really important base skills that like really matter.
Brains are so fried from spending hours on their screens that brain damage happens to affect how they perform in school. Along with this, when children spend years spending all their time playing and using a screen rather than doing chores or learning, they grow a lazy mentality that's very difficult to reverse. Even basic elementary school academics become too much to handle, as they have zero willpower or discipline. Parents need to understand—
No way they actually can't do shit like addition, right? There's no way that the next generation is this cooked that they actually won't even be able to do basic math.
And the dangers of these screens and regulate screen time, even if it angers their children. The rise of gentle parenting has led many parents to allow their children long hours of screen time. And even if this isn't the mindset that gentle parenting is advocating for, it is the mindset that gentle parenting has popularized.
So no, it's not just the mindset that gentle parenting popularized. It's moreover, that's the mindset that gentle parenting on TikTok has popularized. Because like, this is the type of shit that will happen when you just watch a bunch of videos on TikTok and on YouTube and shit. And you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna go apply it. And also, it's not even gentle parenting. Like, this is just parents giving their kid an iPad and having their kid fuck off all day while they do whatever it is their parents need to do. The thing is, it's not even just that there are iPads in kids' hands, it's that there are parents not paying attention to their kids. This is the deeper rooted issue that people don't want to see because they want to attack everything on the internet. This would be a hell of a lot of an easier problem to solve if all they did was take away the distraction, no matter what the distraction was. It doesn't have to be an iPad. An iPad is definitely the most common one, but it doesn't just have to be the iPad. They just take away the distractions because they're an adult and they're fucking physically stronger. They can take it away. So if you take away the distraction and then you just pay attention to your child, I promise that will be a way better result than continuing to let the hole dig deeper.
To either start warning against the dangers of failed gentle parenting or stop promoting this parenting style so heavily. So far, we've discussed the dangers that arise when parents misunderstand the gentle parenting method and use it incorrectly. But even if done correctly, this parenting style can still lead to disaster. You see, gentle parenting works off the assumption that a child is an emotionally intelligent creature who understands the morality of their actions. But the unfortunate reality is that most children are not like this.
Yeah, no, because parents have a really deep connection with their child. And even though children also have a connection with their parents, the sad reality of it is the deeper part of that connection doesn't really start to show until they're older and they can consciously understand what a deep connection with your parents really even feels and looks like to begin with. Because they're a child. They are a dumb, stupid little child. You have to understand that your children that are small, that are like, 4 or 5 years old, they're stupid little children. And stupid children will take advantage of parents who are too soft to do something about it. Because they're stupid children and they don't understand that they're hurting the ones they love.
In a child's early stages, particularly up to the age of 5, children have a trait known as egocentrism, which is the inability to understand perspectives other than their own. These children haven't developed enough cognitively to understand the concept that other people perceive situations differently.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Children have a very one-dimensional life. They don't, literally, like he said, they're very egocentric. They don't have any better of a way to look at the world than what's right in front of their eyes. And they don't, process things in their brain the same way that an adult.
They do. For example, when playing hide and seek, a toddler might cover their own eyes, believing that nobody can see them because they aren't able to see anyone else. Or a toddler might offer their favorite toy to someone else, believing that they would enjoy the toy just as much. But children also have a hard time understanding how their own actions can upset others. A toddler might slap his mom, thinking it's funny. Because the toddler finds it funny, the toddler believes his mom will also find it funny. In this scenario, gentle parenting would advocate using logic and emotional reasoning to explain why slapping is bad.
See, and this is why I said earlier about just putting your kid in the crib and walking away. Because your child is still emotionally attached to you. They do love you. They want to, you know, do things that make you happy. They just don't know what that looks like. Because like he said, they emulate what's inside of themselves in that respect. So if they find something funny, they might think you find it funny. But if you don't find it funny and you find it stupid and rude, you should let them know and stop hanging out with that child for a couple of minutes and then come back. Because it lets them know that what they did indeed was not funny, even if it's funny to them.
A toddler will have a very difficult time understanding these concepts because these concepts are too complicated and beyond their cognitive capacity. It's like teaching algebra to a toddler. Maybe some toddlers will understand it, but for most, their brains just aren't ready for it. And you can't force these complex concepts onto a child because they're just going to end up being confused and won't learn anything. But you know what does work? Operant conditioning. Toddlers' brains are too premature to understand concepts of empathy and morality, but their brains are capable of association. A toddler can associate a certain action to a certain outcome. For example, a child understands, if I eat this broccoli, mom will give me ice cream. Or, if I slap mom, I will be punished.
That's exactly what I've been saying this entire time. And like, I swear to God, I did not pre-watch this, but that's literally what I've been saying this entire time. Children are just input, output. They, like kids, ironically, are very consequence-based. They will not do something if there is a consequence attached to that. The problem is that kids don't like consequence. Kids will cry and scream at consequence because unlike an adult can look at a consequence and go, that fucking sucked. I hate my life, but I have to move on. A kid will sit there and try to get the most attention they possibly can out of everybody to try to get them to solve the consequence for them because a kid doesn't know how to solve their own consequences yet. But even yet so, despite how sad that is, you still have to feed your kid consequences because kids need to slowly learn how to develop the skill of dealing with consequences.
Most children, this method of parenting will be the most effective. Apparently, this method is considered harmful nowadays, which I personally think is BS. Like adults, children have different levels of emotional and social intelligence. Some children might learn concepts of empathy and morality very quickly, and gentle parenting will be very effective for these children. On the flip side, some children are especially stubborn and selfish, and disregard the feelings of anyone else. These children can still be raised to become kind and understanding people. They just need to be specifically raised to understand that their negative actions will lead to negative consequences. If these children are raised with gentle parenting, even if done correctly, they might still end up being violent or narcissistic. And that's what we're seeing happening.
Yeah, there also is a part of this where no matter how good of a parent you are, sometimes your child will just be a fucking asshole and sometimes a serial killer. I mean, you never know. When your child becomes an adult, that's where the kid gets to make the decision. Who do I want to be? Who am I and what do I want to do? And at that point, as a parent, you have no control over that. If your child decides to be an asshole, you can't do anything about that. That's not on you at that point, even if you were the best parent.
So often these days. Now here comes the controversial part of the video. I know a lot of you will get triggered by this part. If you disagree with me or want to type any hate comments, then go ahead. I actually read most of the comments on every video I post, so I'll probably see what you write. Our society has become soft.
I actually would like to point out that I do as well, and I usually respond to the comments as well, so if you want to comment down below what you're thinking so far, would be nice.
Parents are afraid to be strict towards their children because they believe it might traumatize them. Now,
I'm saying, because here's the thing. Yes, your kids can be traumatized very easily, but also you still need to be stern and stubborn with your children where it counts.
People commonly talk about having PTSD because their parents yelled at them. PTSD. Yeah, try telling that to a soldier or a war veteran. I'm not advocating for harsh, aggressive parenting. Parents should mostly be gentle and try to understand their children. But the harsh truth is, sometimes, no matter how much you negotiate with them, children will only want things to go their way. In cases like this, where gentle parenting does not work, being strict is the only solution.
Can you please stop hitting me with that? Thank you.
Stop!
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. That look on her face. She gave the...
Sit down, please. Luca, sit down. Luca, sit down!
Yeah, that's right. Sit the fuck down. It does not take abuse. It literally just takes raising your voice a little bit and saying, hey, stop being a bitch.
That's not nice. You're eating. That's nasty. Yes, nasty. Put it down. Get your feet off the table. Get them off.
Yeah.
Now.
And
because
the
so
other
many
foot.
parents nowadays,
Because that's what it's not rocket science. It's not rocket science when it comes to that.
are reluctant to be strict towards their children, we end up with children who are unafraid of their own actions. Children who don't believe in authority and believe that they can act in their own self-interests. Along with this, a child who's never been yelled at will become soft. They won't be prepared for when the time eventually comes when someone does yell at them. They will be in shock, experiencing strong emotions of anger or fear. If a parent doesn't discipline their children, the world will.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier about, you know, when you come up on the street and someone, you know, you just punch somebody and then they come back and punch you because you punched them. Like, that's a real thing. People will do stupid shit like that because they just don't understand that there is genuine consequences, and the average dude like myself is not going to take your fucking buffoonery. If you say some stupid shit, you are gonna get checked for it. If you do some stupid shit, you're gonna get checked for it. That's what happens when you step into the real world. It takes real world respect to operate in the real world.
If this trend keeps up, future generations will become emotionally weak, selfish, and sensitive. Of course, frequent punishment for trivial reasons is
I mean, I hear that, where they're like, oh, future generations will become selfish and lazy and all this other shit. I see people from all sorts of generations that are like that. Like, there's always been parents and people who are like that. Is that it's rising. It's a rising problem. I just wanted to point out that it's always been a problem. There's always been people who parent their children like that and just spoil the shit out of them, and then they end up just being selfish Karens that nobody wants to be around.
If a child does not understand why the parent is punishing them, they will be left confused and sad. This can lead to self-esteem and mental health problems later on in the child's life. But if punishment is used only when needed and as a last resort, the child would know exactly why they are being punished, and they will realize that they are doing something wrong. This is very important for the personal and moral development of a child. So what kind of parenting style does our society need? A parenting style with balance, knowing when to be gentle, when to set clear boundaries, and when to punish.
Swear to God, this guy's literally just emulating exactly what I've been saying this entire time. Like, it takes balance to raise a child. You have to balance your parenting style.
Let's apply certain principles from gentle parenting, such as empathy and emotional connection and understanding, while also implementing strict rules and punishments. Children would experience the best of both worlds. Children will be emotionally intelligent and have healthy relationships with their parents, but also have the discipline to succeed in life and understand that their actions have consequences and that they must show respect to other people. Gentle parenting is not for everyone, but you know what is for everyone?
Oh God,
my videos.
Yeah, that's just the outro. So yeah, I think overall, this is definitely an eye-opener into how bad things really are with gentle parenting, or gentle parenting. It's not even really gentle, it's just careless. But I guess that's really the point of it, is to prove that this isn't even really a parenting style anymore. It's just a lack of one. At this point, I just want to know, for those of you who are parents, which there may be few, if not any, that watch this, but for those of you who are, comment, like, how are things going? Are your children all right? What's the deal with all that? How is all that happening? Anyway, that's all I have for this video. This one was definitely a longer one, but I had a lot of things I wanted to say towards that, because this shit sometimes just gets me fired up. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, a comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. I got a Twitch and a Discord, as well as the link to the OG vid in the description below. And yeah,